I consider working out to be actually a sport on its own because
she doesn't like compete or anything. She just
well, you have
very fit.
Well, you have like people who train train baseball, who like play baseball with their friends. You know, like their own like just little friends. They don't really compete anywhere, but like they're athletes. They're in shape and they're out there doing a sport. It's gonna be one of those things where you're gonna be like, "Did you do that thing where you start the podcast like and you don't tell me?" And I'm just gonna be like, "How did you know?"
Because I looked over and saw it.
Exactly, because I keep it open this time. But the thing is, in all the other podcasts where I've been recording for a minute, I was recording for like 5 minutes before then.
Yeah, no.
I didn't start the goddamn timer though. Should probably do that. So I'm just gonna cut to this, or maybe I won't. Screw it.
Worthless.
I didn't even have the timer set to 20 yet. All right, we're gonna start it now though. I know it can go longer.
I'm working with amateurs.
Donkey, we're working with amateurs. Shrek, I'm so sorry. So, what's up, guys? We're back. It has been a long time.
It's been over half a year, hasn't it?
I think October was the last one we put
yeah.
in. Or was it before then? Because, so the last podcast we didn't actually release it. I think I actually have it edited. But well, here's what happened. So, give you guys a little bit of recap. Essentially what happened is I got overloaded. It was my last semester of college, and I was overloaded with work. And the podcast, doing these 3-hour long podcasts, I was like, bro, this is a chunk out of time that I'm like, I've got so much other responsibilities going on. And so I think I like cut it together. But then like, if I'm remembering correctly, that week in particular, I was starring in a play. I had classes and exams too, because it was just past the midterm exams, but I still had a couple exams left over to take, and we went and we saw Dune, and we reviewed it, and we gave it a stellar review, and it was a really good podcast.
Movie.
And then I never released it. We never released it on the YouTube channel. I was just overloaded. I was burnt out with so much work. And the last 4 months of my life have kind of like turned me around completely, for real. Like I feel so rejuvenated in doing this kind of stuff and doing media. We've been wanting to do a podcast again for a while. Start season 2 off right.
We've been talking about it for a long time.
Start season 2 off right. I think we wanted to do one for the Batman.
Yeah.
But we just didn't get around to doing it.
Yeah.
But we're here now. Mm-hmm. That's what's important. With a whole new format.
Yeah. Season 2, as he said.
That's right.
We are calling this affectionately Season 2.
Mm-hmm. Episode uno. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of things that have changed with the podcast. So some of the things, obviously, what you see now is that we're actually on screen. Mm-hmm. And we're talking with an actual, like, sitting down with a backdrop. We have different things back here to decorate. We cleaned up the place, put up lights. You know, it used to be us sitting just in the living room with the mic in the middle, and we just sit there and talk. And
it's like 10 feet that way.
Literally right there. Technically, part of the table is in the living room. But we wanted to start putting things on camera, but the only thing about that is my camera will overheat after about 30 minutes. So what we're doing now is we're going to have a slight break a couple of times every episode, and we're going to try and keep each episode around an hour.
Yeah, but y'all won't see the break. We're gonna cut that.
It'll fade into it.
Yeah.
But no, we're gonna have like a timer go, so that like even our listeners can take like a bathroom break while we're doing that. Unless you take like fat shits.
Take the mic with us while we pee, so they can hear how heavy our streams are.
Yeah, I'm oh my god. But no, well, unless you take a fat shit, then you might want to pause the video. Yeah, do your business. Anyway,
or just take it with you.
Well, no, they take it with them, but I'm saying if there's only a 10-minute break, and then they take it to the bathroom, and they take a fat shit. I don't even know if this should be the opening to the video.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway.
No, we're going with it.
Season 2. Welcome back.
Mm-hmm. We have an excellent film that we're going to review this time.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and let you guys know at the end of the episode, like we always do, we're going to review a film, but this time we're going to be reviewing the new film. It had a limited release we didn't get to see, but now it is out everywhere. It's Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. See how I brought that together with the everywhere?
I did see how you did that. You said that, and I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, fantastic movie. Can't wait to talk about it. Mm-hmm. But before we get into that, we've got a lot more to talk about.
So something that we were doing to rework the podcast is we did change our review format. We also changed our format, obviously, for the way that we shoot it. And I want to talk about some things I think for the future of the podcast that we should do, and things that we've talked about doing.
Yeah.
So
the things like we've I guess the best way to play it is like we've done like, I don't know if this is the best way to say it. Like
we formulated.
think tanks.
I think we formulated ideas.
We've been spitballing stuff back and forth for a while about extra things to do that aren't just podcasts.
Mm-hmm. One of them was you wanted to start doing Let's Plays more.
Yeah, not necessarily like full video game Let's Plays like what I think is like Jesse Cox. You know, that dude's known for doing very long Let's Plays or really long games. We don't. Excuse me.
Jesus Christ.
We're not looking to do that.
I was almost going to say we should smoke cigars on the show, but maybe not.
We're thinking about doing stuff like, you know, just 20-minute videos of us just sitting down playing maybe like a multiplayer game or something like that. Not like
you should
a
like cheat out a little bit more. Yeah, you're kind of tilted towards me and then looking that way. Let them see your pretty face, Luke. Also, something I would like for us to do is start investing a little bit more into the podcast that can only elevate it. Yeah. So, for example, you know how you can hear that through the mic?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Something I'm thinking that we could do to change that is they actually make, you know, mic stands, and we could have mic stands come in, or maybe from the backside would probably be better.
Yeah, for sure.
And that leads me to another thing. Perhaps we should consider getting another mic. Getting Definitely. 2 mics, we'll run both of them into Definitely. It. We can get much better audio close up. Yeah. I'm going to take the watch off so it's not jingling. And I have a pop filter. We can get another pop filter. Here's an idea I wanted to spitball to you. Theoretically, if we started somehow monetizing this or making any kind of money off of this, do we want to consider renting out like a storage unit and hosting the podcast there?
That is an option.
A climate storage unit.
Yeah. Another option is we could like theoretically rent one of the studio booths for like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
We could do that.
Yeah, easy.
We could also, I mean, you're technically still a student, so this month, you know what we could do? We could rent out a library room on campus.
Oh yeah, all kinds of private rooms.
Yeah, we just bring our gear and bags and set up, you know, and do a podcast in there.
Yeah,
and you can rent that slot out for like 2 hours, I think, max.
Nice.
And since we're trying to do shorter format anyway, huh?
It's all we need.
Hmm.
And I feel like if we,
but some sort of way that we can actually like
no one's gonna complain.
But the point is, I'm thinking we should stage it somewhere. You know what I mean? That's not just in the living room.
Yeah.
I turned if you go to my YouTube channel, ChrisDewberry.com. It's not ChrisDewberry.com. It is Chris Dewberry on YouTube. I don't have my own website. I thought about it, but I don't. But
I have my own website.
Do what?
I have my own website.
Do you? You don't like Wix?
Yes.
Was it for which class was that for? You don't even post there, do you?
I need stuff to post first. What website was, or what class was that? Portfolio prep.
I never had to take that.
Dude, that class was amazing.
Was it?
Yeah.
And I was well, I guess to like an undergrad, or I don't want to say undergrad, but to a younger undergrad, it's like I don't want to take a portfolio class. I want to take a behind the camera, but like as someone who's trying to market themselves, I bet
really good.
Did you?
So you know, like in our classes, they teach us how to do the job, but not how to get the job. Mm-hmm. Portfolio prep is all about how to get the job. Well, that's the entire point of the class.
Actually, I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day, and he is setting up, trying to pick up like acting gigs, and I asked him if I could see his email address, and his email address is his name and then a bunch of numbers at gmail.com, and I was like, you should set up a different email address for each thing that you want to do.
For sure.
I have Chris Dewberry Film. That has my acting and my films, crew stuff in it, and writing, and just anything to do with film or theater, really. And my second one is Chris Dewberry Boxing. Those are my two, like, professional emails. My private email, I'm not going to tell you all that. You'd be wrong. It's a Rusty Shackelford at...
Rusty Shackelford at keyofthehill.com. But another thing that we've been thinking about doing is we've got a couple skits that we're wanting to try to make. I think that'd be really fun.
We have a friend that is a phenomenal skit writer.
Oh yeah.
He's a very good skit writer.
Who is killer.
So we want to bring him in on that too, for sure.
Yeah.
And hopefully, we were thinking about trying to get him on this podcast, but I think it actually kind of works. The only other person I really wanted here tonight was like Graham, if he could have made it.
And Graham, the third member of the podcast, he could not be here tonight. Hopefully, we can get him in on the future. Get him back in.
The next one, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I don't really know where we'd put him, but
we'll figure it out. I was thinking we could cheat out just a little bit.
No. What we do is we set him right here with his back turned to the camera the whole time.
I mean, that would be kind of funny, wouldn't it?
It'd be funny.
He'd be blocking off what we need to just put him like on the floor, so his head is just right here. Something else I was thinking I wanted to throw by you as far as other equipment to consider. I think you have a camera, right?
Yeah.
And does it have like a battery and everything?
No. I actually sold the batteries for gas money.
I don't know if you lost the battery or something, because I feel like there was a time where we should set up 2 more cameras so we can get the cross angles, and if we can get Graham over here, if we only have 1 more camera, set up the Graham cam.
Yeah.
Because if Graham has to sit somewhere maybe like over to the side.
Does Nighthawk have a camera?
Yeah, he's got a camera.
Well, that'll be on him.
It'll be on him, but since we both have them, and we know. When we film, we get Graham here. We can have the Graham cam, our patented fact checker.
Yep.
But anyway, those are a couple of the ideas that we have going on for the future.
Things we want to get done soon.
So something else that's been going on recently, and kind of what has been occupying a lot of my time, is I just got my amateur boxing license. Yeah. I have spent the last since I've been training MMA for a while. But I picked up an actual boxing coach in December. And I've been training really hard since then, every week. And now I just got my license to fight on the amateur scene. So you might hear me talk about that in the future.
Hell yeah!
You'd never expect a guy that does this stuff to be a boxer, but it's awesome.
I mean, look at Joe Rogan.
I would you show me that dude on the podcast.
That dude has a very successful podcast that I don't care about. But that dude would wipe the floor with us. Okay,
here's the thing about Joe Rogan, though. If you look at the format of his podcast, it's definitely the kind of guy I could see knocking somebody's head off. He has at one point behind him, he had like a metal American flag.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
And then another time, it's always like a darker, moodish kind of setting with like lights. He doesn't have, big movie quiz, fake Oscars, and VHSs behind him.
As much as that dude talks about DMT.
That is what fighters talk about.
Is it?
Yes.
DMT specifically?
DMT, they talk about oh my god, they talk about drugs all the time, but yeah, like drugs and shit. They talk about getting high and rolling. Do you know what that is?
Like jiu-jitsu rolling?
Yeah. So what you do is you smoke a joint and then you roll. And you just roll for hours. That's what they do.
That actually sounds pretty fun, not gonna lie.
Yeah. Joe Rogan, I look at Joe Rogan and I'm like, no, that guy definitely would. Not just because, again, we talked about his content, but also, have you looked at him?
Yeah.
That dude is
built like a dwarf.
Yeah.
I say that because he's not very tall.
And he is stout.
That dude could, I feel like he would flick my nose and, like, break my neck.
If he wasn't such a good, in my opinion, he's got a lot of flack as a commentator by people. I love listening to him talk and commentate. If he wasn't I've
never really cared about him.
If he wasn't such a good commentator to me, I'd feel disappointed that we didn't get to see him actually like fight professionally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's good.
Anyway,
he's got a lot of knowledge.
So apart from the boxing license, there is something else rather significant that you have done lately.
A little bit more significant than the boxing license.
Yeah. Only a little bit.
So I just won the Holle Award for Excellence in Screenwriting. And that is this one right here. I don't want to move it because then you're going to hear it. But it's that one right there. You can't see it that well anyway. But that's the award. Won that for a screenplay that I wrote in 2019 and been reworking for years now. And there are some opportunities on the rise. It's just about taking advantage of them, but not taking advantage of the people giving the opportunities. Because there's a big difference. And a lot of people don't understand that there's a big difference between taking advantage of the opportunity and taking advantage of the person giving the opportunity. I want to, there is potential, and I don't want to psych any of this out, but there is potential to possibly get my film picked up with Netflix. That's something I'm working on. I am in contact with a production executive If you don't know what that means that Netflix will give, the creative side of Netflix will give this person a project, and it is their job to make sure it happens. And we met at the award ceremony and exchanged information and everything. And she is really interested in the screenplay. And I was actually talking to her today, and she wants me to send her my pitch pack for it.
Awesome.
Well, I asked her, I was like, would you like for me to? She's like, yes, please. She gave me her email, so I'm going to send her the pitch pack for it tonight. I think I have to rework some things in it because I want to add this to the resume for it. Mm-hmm. It makes it look, it doesn't just make it look more prestigious, it is more prestigious. Yeah. It's the first film award I've ever won. It's the first award I've ever really, like, earned, ever. It came with a cash prize, which I'm not going to tell you how much it was, but could help out the podcast.
It was $18.
It was a crisp 20, but 2 of it came out in taxes.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point is, we've been busy. We've been doing a lot of work. He's about to graduate college.
Hopefully.
Yeah. That's the hope. He was hopefully going to graduate when we were talking about this in October.
I was supposed to graduate a year ago, and stuff happens.
It does happen. But the Holle Award for Excellence in Screenwriting, and I guess we can hold it up close to the camera towards the end of the podcast if we really want to.
Yeah, we just send a picture of it and just edit it in when we were talking about it.
But yeah, no, so it's really big for me, for my career, and I feel like we should really move on to the next topic because we just are rambling here.
So I know we talked about how we were going to do a podcast on the Batman. Mm-hmm. We never got the chance.
So we'll talk about it here.
Just take a few minutes to talk about what we thought about it.
If you've been living under a rock,
yeah,
The Batman is a film that was released this spring.
Last month. It was released in March.
Yep. And it is Matt Reeves' take on the Caped Crusaders' second year as a crime fighter.
And wow, what a story!
What a story!
I feel like, and I think this is maybe one of the stronger suits of the film. Like, one thing they did really right is this movie doesn't, to me, feel like this awesome, action-packed superhero story about this guy trying to save the world. It feels like a detective film about a detective trying to stop a terrorist, mm-hmm. and it just so happens to star Bruce Wayne's Batman.
And the Riddler.
Yeah.
I think that, one, if you didn't get a chance to see it in theaters, sorry, you did miss out.
It might still be in theaters. I know around here it's still showing.
But it comes out on HBO Max
Monday,
I
believe.
So,
maybe Tuesday. I'm pretty sure it's Monday.
I couldn't remember if it was this week that it came out or next week.
By the time this comes out, it may already be out because I don't know how long it will take to get it out. But
so
within the next few days, it'll be on Netflix or it'll be on HBO Max if it's not already. That is, in my opinion, a must-watch.
So, Burst Fire. What are a few key things that you liked about the movie very quickly?
Okay, so very quickly, again, the one thing that I've already said about how it doesn't feel like crazy over the top. I like how down to earth the action in this is. Like, it's not this dude doing like god tier feats of strength. Like, I feel like all the action is plausible, sometimes a little unlikely, but plausible. I liked the possibilities that it can set up for the future. Love the performances, and I loved I guess this also goes into the performances, but the cast. I like the people that they cast, and I'm glad to see those actors and actresses doing things moving further, and they killed it.
Certainly very happy to support Robert Pattinson.
Yes.
That man, I would say, like, he deserves a dub. He's been getting dubs. He's been winning as an actor. He's been getting a lot of good roles. But it's nice to see him back in a bigger budget adaptation of somebody else's work. Mm-hmm. Because the last thing he was in with like that I can think of was Twilight.
I think Twilight is the only other adaptation he has done.
He was in Harry Potter.
He was in episode
4.
Yep. Goblet of Fire. The best movie, in my opinion.
Debatable, but we can get into that another time.
My opinion.
I guess it's not debatable. Yeah, it's your opinion, but we can discuss that another time.
Yeah.
But glad to see that, and I can give a really quick rapid fire of things that I like about the movie. The cinematography I thought was fantastic. Yeah. The color grading, just on a more technical level, I think the color grading was great. I think that Matt Reeves really understands the character of Bruce Wayne and Batman. He understands. What I mean by that is he understands what Batman stories are supposed to be, and that is a detective story.
He definitely understands the Batman aspect, but the thing about the film is we don't really see enough of Bruce Wayne to know his understanding of the Bruce Wayne character.
Well, what I mean by that when I say that he understands Bruce Wayne is I'm more talking about this idea of for example, if you take Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy and you look at his adaptation of Bruce Wayne, I think that he's almost a little bit... That Bruce Wayne puts on a face in front of everybody else. Mm-hmm. He puts on a face at the parties. He comes in with women left and right. This Bruce Wayne doesn't. This Bruce Wayne is brooding. He's a dark man. He's a troubled man, and and when he's out in public, it really does feel like. I'll get that in a second. It really does feel like. That's the best way I can put this. It feels like Bruce Wayne actually doesn't care about his life. He doesn't care about what's going on outside. He doesn't care about his personal health, his finances. All he cares about is solving the mystery and saving lives.
Cares about Gotham.
He doesn't put on a face. He doesn't put on a face to do it. He walks out and he is still Batman, just wearing a suit. Mm-hmm. It has always felt to me like in other movies that Batman stops working when he's pretending to be Bruce Wayne. In this one, he's always trying to do something to solve the mystery. Yep. And I think that when I say that Matt Reeves understands Bruce Wayne, I think he understands that Bruce Wayne doesn't necessarily have to care about putting on a face, at least in this version. Yeah. And the thing is, I think we see Bruce Wayne 3 times in the film. Well, and I think that is a good idea for an early Bruce Wayne because he hasn't learned how to balance being Bruce Wayne and Batman yet. This is only his second year. Christopher Nolan's, Bruce Wayne had been doing it for a while, at least by The Dark Knight, and he no longer really struggles with doing it. In this film, it's Batman's second year, so Batman actually has to struggle with being a superhero and balancing his life outside of that. His finances aren't ruined by the third movie. His finances are ruined now. Yeah. He's having to solve his finance problems now. Bruce Wayne, Alfred has to keep reminding him that he has like meetings and stuff where he has to go to, So I think that is a great understanding of Bruce Wayne in year 2. So.
What else? You have more?
Nothing. I was gonna hold it for a second so that way when it fades to black. Okay. You know what I mean? All right. So let's just hold it for 1 second. Look at the camera and smile for like 1 second.
We didn't clap the last one.
We did.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I missed that.
But, yeah, definitely go watch The Batman.
It's pretty awesome.
Whether it's at home or it's on the big screen. Moving on.
Yeah. So, moving from one comic book powerhouse to another comic book powerhouse, we're going to talk about Marvel for a little bit.
Just for a minute.
So, Marvel's Moon Knight is going on right now. And let me tell you, I don't really know how to feel about that show. Like, I'm definitely not as into it as I was, like, Loki or WandaVision.
Falcon.
Or even Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Haven't seen Hawkeye yet.
Haven't seen that one yet, I'll be honest.
Yeah, but Moon Knight is, it's just okay.
The best way I can say is that it's underwhelming. Yeah. I see the potential for a really good MCU show, but I have a couple of problems with it. One, I think that we spent entirely too much time as Steven setting up Mark. Yeah. I think one episode, I get it. It was the first episode. I understand. After the second episode, I was like, all right, we better get some more Moon Knight or I'm out. You know what I mean? I'll finish it, but I'm not going to I'm going to slug through it kind of thing, but I won't enjoy it. I'm going to be emotionally checked out of the show. Episode 3 was better.
I liked episode 3.
It was better.
So really, the main
but
thing...
I definitely disagree with the critics because the critics are saying the critics give it like a 96, like a 92 on different. I was like 70, 73, 72 tops. Yeah. It's
my thing is
okay.
Like, I really hope that at the end of the season we meet Blade, and Blade kind of like recruits Moon Knight and like a Midnight Suns kind of deal.
That would be very
and
cool.
I really hope that we're leading into like a Midnight Suns thing with his character. Mm-hmm. I think that would be awesome.
What's the I'm okay. Well, I'm a little bit unfamiliar. What's the Midnight Suns?
So the Midnight Suns is like the best way to put it, I think, is like supernatural Avengers. It's like characters from like the supernatural side of Marvel, like Blade, Vampire Hunter, Moon Knight, Avatar of a God.
Spawn in that?
Spawn's not a Marvel. He's a Dark Horse character.
He is
I
Dark
think
Horse.
He's Dark Horse.
He is Dark Horse. Yeah.
And then Doctor Strange is in the Midnight Suns. I'm pretty sure.
But he's also just in the Avengers, isn't he?
Yeah. Ghost Rider is in it. So it's like a
yeah.
supernatural Avengers. Basically.
I got you. Definitely. Would Wanda? You think Wanda would qualify for that?
Probably. I don't think she's ever in the comics. In the comics, she's just a mutant. I think they did eventually retcon her into being more than just a mutant.
What do you think is going to happen when the X-Men join the MCU? Do you think that they're going to kind of move into her being a mutant? Or do you think that they're going to stick with she's her own thing? She's not related to Magneto in the MCU. Because Magneto, as far as we know, doesn't exist in the MCU yet.
Yeah. I think that they'll keep her the way she is. I don't think they will retcon the MCU itself to make her a mutant. I don't think they'll do that.
In a second, I want to touch on that in just a second. I just want to say one more thing I don't like about Moon Knight. And I don't make it think that I just absolutely loathe the show. Like I said, a 72, 73... I mean, Starship Troopers has a 68. I love Starship Troopers.
It's a pretty good movie.
I would give it like a 7 out of 10 right now.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
I'm not crazy about
passable. You know, the action when it's happening looks pretty cool for the most part. The part that doesn't look cool, that's my problem, is that you know exactly what I'm going to say. The suit does not look good.
It's specifically
the
Mark's Moon Knight suit.
Yeah, because Steven's Moon Knight suit looks dope as shit.
Yeah.
Mark's Moon Knight suit that looks bad because the whole thing looks CGI. I sometimes I'm like, is the whole thing CGI?
I'm convinced that there is like zero practical effect to the Moon Knight suit.
And that's a big disappointment because
bummer. Because like
if it was,
you can make that.
Come on. Here's the deal: if it was in an MCU film, it wouldn't bother me as much because those films get more money and they can afford better special effects.
Yeah.
Take the Spider-Man movies and the Avengers movies, the Avengers Endgame when they were wearing the suits. All those suits were CGI. The Spider-Man suit is CGI, for the most part. They could have the money to throw at it to do that. The problem is it's a show, so the CGI stands out more when it's there. It's okay CGI. But I've seen Marvel shows with better CGI. I thought the CGI in WandaVision, in Falcon Winter Soldier, in Loki,
it was really
CGI
good.
was really good. Sometimes it was clear they were standing in front of a green screen, but I think that Moon Knight CGI is not that good. Now moving on from that, here's where I wanted to talk to you about something that briefly mentioned a minute ago about Doctor Strange and Wanda and about the Multiverse of Madness, and I wanted to dive into something with you. Because we talked about the X-Men. Do you think that that's definitely Charles Xavier in the Multiverse of Madness trailer?
Yeah.
So, has it been confirmed that's who that is?
So,
and also, is this going to be the way they introduce the X-Men? What do you think?
Patrick Stewart confirmed that it is his voice in the trailer.
Yeah, we know that's his voice.
That. And I feel like if they're going to use him as a Marvel character, who else would it be?
Well, that's what I was going to say. So you think they're not going to necessarily recast all the X-Men?
Well, no, I don't think that, like, when they do X-Men, I don't think he will be Xavier.
Do you think that essentially it's going to be kind of like the Spider-Man film, where basically there's the alternate multiverses, and that's in that one?
I think that he
is there a 20th Century Fox multiverse where essentially all the theories we had as children, when we were kids, and we watched these movies coming out as they came out, Daredevil, Raimi trilogy, Punisher, all these movies that we watched, Ghost Rider. Do you think there's a 20th Century Fox multiverse where all of those happened in the same universe?
Maybe.
X-Men,
maybe
all of that,
maybe.
Because I'm telling you, there's a Sony / 20th Century Fox verse. There's both of them together. Mm-hmm. All these films when we were growing up. Because I'll tell you, here's the deal. If Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man exists in the same cinematic universe as Tom Holland's, because he does now. It's the same cinematic universe. It's a different multiverse within that universe. Mm-hmm. That means the Punisher does too, because the Punisher was in Spider-Man 2.
He was.
He was. He had a cameo bit, but he was there. That was him. Which
Maybe.
means the Punisher could show up.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm just saying.
Well,
Are you, Tom? I would love to
Daredevil
see.
is in it, and he's in Daredevil.
Was he in Daredevil?
Season 2.
No. That was. But that's.
I'm saying like the Punisher does exist. In
John
the MCU.
Bernthal's Punisher. But I would love to see him. But I really want to see Thomas Jane's Punisher come back.
Yeah.
Now, with that though comes in. If they bring in the other Daredevil as well, I don't know. I just want to see a big movie with all of them, and like confirm what we knew as children, confirm what we theorized. They all existed within the same universe. That's what I want.
I want the X-Men in the MCU so bad.
Who do you want to play Wolverine? Because that's the big question we've been asking for years.
That's really hard.
Because the front runner for it, for the longest time was Tom Hardy.
Okay,
but he's Venom.
Do not want him to play.
Well, it doesn't matter. What I was saying was he can't play him because he's playing Venom.
Yeah.
So that's out. The front runner for it is out. Who else do you think could do it? Who do you think could do it? Hugh Jackman.
As much as I would love for Hugh Jackman to reprise his role again, I feel like that would really downplay Logan. So hear me out.
Okay.
I've seen some fan art of like edited photos of people playing different characters in the MCU. And I'll say this. Daniel Radcliffe does not look like a bad Logan.
I haven't seen it. Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel, yeah.
I just don't see it, man. I don't know if I can see Harry Potter playing
I'll see
Wolverine.
if I can find it and show it to you later. He looks really good, and there was one other.
But do you think he could get the voice down?
Yeah.
Really? Because he's got a pretty high pitched voice.
There was one other.
He's got a voice like mine. I couldn't do Logan.
Who I always thought would make a great Logan, and I'm struggling to think of who it is. I'll think on it, and if it comes to mind, I'll mention it later.
The thing is, Daniel Radcliffe has a voice like mine. It's very high pitched, or it's like medium to high, you know. So I don't know if he could get the graveliness.
Mark Wahlberg.
Dude, hey man, Father Stu, baby. Get Mark Wahlberg in on
Not
this.
Marky Mark, absolutely not.
Do you want him in the MCU at all?
Not necessarily, no.
Not.
I'm trying to think of like apart from.
You know who I think
Logan.
could play him? If it's an okay, hear me out. If it is an older Logan, but they don't want to bring Hugh Jackman back, Daniel Craig.
Yeah,
I think he could do
that.
I think he could do it.
I can't remember his name. Maybe,
I just don't think he wants to get shredded like that
maybe,
anymore because he was doing the Bond movies.
Yeah, maybe Mark Strong, I think is his name. Played Merlin.
Yeah,
In
maybe.
Yeah,
if he could,
not for Logan, for Xavier.
Oh, I was about to say. I was like maybe. I was like
Yeah,
maybe, but
his Xavier.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that'd be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who would I want to see. The problem is I'm not as well versed on small screen actors, and I think what they should do is start casting more, bring in some of the small screen actors to play into it. Now, you know who I think could do a pretty good Quicksilver, unless they want to bring back Evan Peterson, because
please,
I'm here for that.
Please,
I'm here for that. I think they could do if they did a younger one. That teen, the kid from Midnight Mass, the main character's younger brother.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a good part
I
for
see that.
I think he's a good actor.
Look,
He just got off of making one of the best miniseries ever made, or at least released back in October. I think you put him as a younger Quicksilver. Well, they can't though. They can't do that. They can't do that because we've already had Quicksilver. We already had a Quicksilver and he's dead.
Yeah.
Fuck. We can't even do that.
You know.
Forget that.
Who I would like to see.
We're ditching it. I forgot to turn the camera around again.
Anyway, please give us a Gambit. I don't know who I would want to play Gambit, but please put Gambit in those movies.
Do you know that TikTok trend going around where basically it's me in 2009 looking up like the PS5 or the PS4 and it's like the weird one in the music? Me in 2009 looking up the next Gambit and seeing Channing Tatum as Gambit. That wouldn't be a horrible casting. I don't think. I like Channing Tatum.
I don't dig that.
You don't dig that?
I don't dig that.
Who do you dig?
I never liked that. Even when they were like Channing Tatum's Gambit, I was like, dude, I love Gambit.
Taylor Kish.
I will watch this movie. I hope this movie never happens.
Bring Taylor Kish back from X-Men Origins Wolverine.
I don't think he was bad.
I know.
Give him a second crack. That's not who I would cast.
They've done it before.
This time, I would cast someone else, but I don't know who I would cast.
Clearly, they've done it before. They've brought back. They did Deadpool that way. You know, they brought back Ryan Reynolds to play Deadpool. Mm-hmm. They could do Taylor Kitsch, and they can make a funny joke with that too. Especially if Taylor Kitsch, instead of immediately showing up in the MCU per se, show up in the next Deadpool movie. Because I think they're making a third one, and then
I believe I've heard
bring
that,
them in.
They
because
need to.
They're gonna be bringing him in. We know that. Deadpool is there. There's no way they would get. Come on. Because Wolverine,
that dude is made.
Wolverine had 20 years. Well, I won't say 20. It's like 16, 17 years as Wolverine, Hugh Jackman. And then he had his time. Ryan Reynolds, not counting X-Men Origins Wolverine, has only been in 2 actual Deadpool movies. They would be, and that have made a lot of money, and have developed a massive fan base for those movies in particular, no matter how toxic it can be. Or cringy.
Yeah.
They would be
can't get cringy,
out of their minds if they didn't make a third Deadpool movie and then bring Deadpool into the MCU and just put him as a constant in the MCU. He would, especially with X-Men.
With Disney behind it now, do you think they would go PG-13 on Deadpool 3?
No, I don't. Yeah, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I don't.
That would be a astrological misstep.
I'll tell you why I don't think they'll do that. One, it would be an astrological misstep. The fans would hate it. Mm-hmm. Nobody would like it. I don't think critics would like it either.
Yeah.
Secondly, they put the if I'm not mistaken, didn't they put Daredevil on Disney Plus?
Yes.
Daredevil's violent.
I think all of those are on Disney Plus now.
So Daredevil in particular is violent and bloody as fuck.
I've only seen season 1.
I don't know if they put Punisher on there. I don't think they put Punisher.
I have no idea.
But Daredevil's bloody and violent as fuck. They wouldn't put it on there if they weren't willing to do it. If they did a Deadpool movie, I think that they would stick with it. I think they would stick with the R rating.
I'd be disappointed if not.
I don't necessarily know if they would put it on Disney Plus. For the same reason that I don't think Punisher, it took them a long time to even put these shows on Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was because of contracts. I think it was apprehension to put that kind of content on Disney Plus. They eventually did it. What I worry about are things, not necessarily putting Deadpool as far as on Disney Plus, because I'm not worried that they're gonna make it PG-13. What I'm worried about is they're eventually not going to put the Spider-Man films on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's possible.
Because here's the deal: they're not on Disney Plus now. Mm-hmm. When we were gonna go watch the latest Spider-Man No Way Home, I tried to find the movies on Disney Plus and they weren't there. I was actually surprised, and then I was like, yeah, Sony owns them.
Yeah, I think. I think No Way Home is gonna hit like a DVD soon.
I think it already did, didn't it?
Maybe. I know it's you can buy it on like Amazon Prime.
I mean, it's been 3 months. To be fair, discs are going out.
Yeah.
Sadly, I think though aside from like the latest, like DVDs are going out. I think we're gonna get to a point very soon where DVDs are no longer sold.
Like just Blu-ray and
Blu-ray,
4K Ultra.
And so here's the deal. And that kind of leads me into another topic I wanted to talk about is like collections and stuff. I'm getting rid of a lot of my DVDs. I don't necessarily plug a DVD. I don't put the DVD in to watch anymore. Yeah. I just stream it. I pull it up. But I can hang on to VHSs, and that's because VHSs are such a widely different format. Because DVD is a disc, Blu-ray is a disc, 4K is a disc. VHS is a whole different ballgame. It's an entire different system. It's analog, so it's a whole different way of watching a movie. And there's artifacts on the screen when you put a VHS in that you see. You can tell this was a VHS. You can see some of the lines. There's a certain charm to it, and there's a certain. It's fun because you have to actually go hunting for the quality VHSs that you want of the movies that you grew up on, and even ones you didn't grow up on. I'm still hunting for a Blade Runner VHS, and they exist. I have all of the available Star Wars VHSs. At least, I'm sure there's different editions of those VHSs, but I have like 1 through 6, except for Episode 3. They exist, but they are so rare. They're like $50. They're hard to find. Episode 2 cost me
$50 ain't too bad.
Episode 2 cost me $10.
Nice.
Yeah, but I got it. Found it at Replays out there, sitting on the shelf.
Yeah.
So I do. I'm getting rid of those DVDs and stuff, and I think that we're moving to a place where eventually, maybe even just discs as a whole, and that bothers me. That bothers me because, you know, it is going to sound conspiracy theorist, but what happens to the point where something happens, or better yet, a better way to put this. Let's say you want to do streaming and the Wi-Fi gets shut down somehow. Wi-Fi gets shut off, whether it's some sort of, I don't know, power grid failure or something. You have your backup generators, but the Wi-Fi is out. You know, Comcast is out. Everyone's is out. How are you going to watch your entertainment? You don't have any discs. There's no more disc players. They may make them. Nobody has them. You can actually still get a CD player at Walmart.
That's why you download it to your laptop.
Streaming, you can't do that.
Yeah, well, fuck streaming.
That's why you legally download it to your laptop.
With an asterisk at the end.
You definitely don't illegally do that shit because that's just not cool.
Never have.
Especially if you haven't watched the movie in theaters and paid your ticket price.
I bought the movie. I can download it from wherever I want.
Fair enough.
They already got my money.
Anyway, Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. We were talking about Moon Knight.
I mean, check it out if you want. I mean, I'm sure it's going to come important later. I do hope Blade shows up.
God, I hope Blade shows up.
Hey, you know what that means?
He was dude. Technically, at the end of Eternals, we didn't see him. We just hear his voice.
Wesley Snipes got to come back since they have the multiverse now.
That would be cool.
Come on, baby.
I would love to see Wesley Snipes.
Come on, give me a Wesley Snipes.
I think he should at least make a cameo in the Blade movie.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Do you think? I'm sure he might make a cameo, but it won't be as Blade. You know, it'll be.
No, it'll just be a cameo. He's in the background, or he says something.
But
maybe he's like a cop or something. I don't know.
Maybe, dude. I mean, what if we're watching it? He's Blade's mentor. Here's what I hope though. Here's what I'm worried about with Blade though, and so this is something that I've been dealing with the MCU for a little while. A lot of these movies just look the same. They feel the same.
Most of them look the same.
Yeah.
It's the same formula with different characters.
I actually miss, and this is one of the things actually when we talk about and I think we're actually almost out of time for this segment. When we talk about prequels versus sequels in Star Wars, there's actually kind of a charm to those films before where there wasn't always a set formula to these types of movies. You know, you watch, if you put on the TV right now in front of me and you put on insert MCU movie, I'm going to have a hard time unless I can immediately see the superhero on screen. And even then, I'll be like, oh, is this one of the Avengers movies or is this a solo movie? I wouldn't know. If I walked in on you watching it, it'd take me a minute to figure out which one we're watching. It really would. But you know when you're watching, in the sense of it would take me longer than... I know that when I walk in, if you've got Spider-Man 2 or 3 on, I know exactly which one it is. If you've got Daredevil with Ben Affleck, Punisher... Blade 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever. I know exactly what movie it is.
I can tell the difference between the 3 Blade movies for sure.
I know exactly which movie it is off the rip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you don't get the X-Men movies. You don't get that anymore now. Those were all very much individually stylized, and now they all look the same.
That's great.
And so that's what I'm saying and this is one of the reasons when we get into in our review, which is coming up next, Everything Everywhere All at Once. So original, and so that's something in my review for the film on my own personal channel. I talked about how I've been thirsting for original films. So that's my problem with what the MCU is doing right now. Is I heard a good take once that the MCU, if something happened and they just couldn't make any more MCU movies after even Infinity War, it'd have been fine.
Yeah,
I
don't think I'll suffer if we never get an MCU movie again.
I would have, 3 years ago.
Well, maybe not.
No, not 3. 4 years ago.
Yeah.
5. So, you know what I'm talking about? Mid 2000 teens.
Yeah.
I would have suffered if we get past Winter Soldier, and they're like, hey, we're not making any more. I'd be like,
If Age of Ultron was the last MCU movie, I'd be like, you are fucking kidding me.
Yeah. Make me another one. I'm not asking.
Yeah. Like Kevin Feige, I'll find you.
We will find you, and we will drag you out and force you to produce it.
Yeah.
Make
Make more.
So, I'm obviously hopeful for the future, but I think, like many fans, we kind of checked out afterwards. The next film that I'm looking for forward to in the MCU that I'm really looking forward to is probably the Ant-Man 3 because of Kang the Conqueror being in it. I'm excited about Kang. Which, cool. Ant-Man?
Yeah,
Ant-Man? You couldn't make
I'm
him like
forward to Blade.
I think he would have...
for Blade.
I think Kang the Conqueror would have been a better just like Loki villain for a Loki movie. Make him...
Maybe.
Instead of... You know what I mean? I don't know. Loki's in it, you know what I mean? Like, Loki set it up. Yeah. I am looking forward to... Do you think they're going to get a Loki season 2, or do you think that it's...
I don't know.
It's just going to basically...
They did not submit it for Best Miniseries.
Interesting. Well, it can be... You can make a miniseries and then eventually make more. You know what I mean? But if Midnight Mass...
I think we'll get more.
If Midnight Mass made a season 2 right now, they could still be eligible for all the awards they already won. I don't want them to. I'm just saying if they wanted to, they could.
It's perfect the way it was.
It's perfect the way it was. Which we need to finish Blind Manor. But anyway, we're going to move on in just a moment. We're going to take a quick break.
Into the review.
Yep, we're going to take a quick break, go into the review. When we do that, we're going to break down the new format for the reviews. And we're going to talk about that for a moment, and then we're just going to get right into it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So before we hop in to the review, there are some things we didn't mention earlier that we would like to do with our channel. One of them is the possibility of doing some tabletop RPG stuff. And when I say that, I don't mean like doing some long form like Critical Role or Dimension 20-esque things. We are very interested in doing one-shots that have to do with other tabletop RPG systems. Just doing one-shots, and then like at the end of the episode, we'll talk a little bit about how like we feel about like the mechanics and things. But like a couple of examples that we were talking about earlier is recently there has been a Power Ranger tabletop RPG release, and now I love Power Rangers. Grew up with Power Rangers. Would love to do that.
Oh yeah, we went and saw the one that came out.
Yeah, we did. We saw that in theaters.
Yes, we did.
It was all right. But
when they played Go Go Power Rangers, I was like, all right, I'm in.
But that next week the Marvel RPG playtest will release, and I plan on getting that, and we can do one of that. There's so many that we could do, and the idea behind it is that we try out all these different things that we've never done before, and then we do like a one shot, and then everyone involved will talk about how they feel about it compared to other tabletop RPGs we played in the past. Mm-hmm. But not just that, we want to play standard tabletop games. Like we've thought about just recording us playing games like I'm Secret Hitler. We could do that. You've recently bought is it Dune Betrayal?
Yes.
We bought that, so we could do that. Yep. We could do Cards Against Humanity, things like that. And we think that would be very fun to do.
And we can get as basic as we want to. We can do like eels and escalators.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. We can literally make it as like, simple.
Like
Quelf.
Quelf would be amazing.
It'd be great.
Yeah. Quelf, if you haven't heard of Quelf, it's a great game. He has a copy. Would love to play it. Mm-hmm. We could do Monopoly.
I recently fucked up the box on Quelf. I know, dude. I was wanting to get a new board anyway. I wanted to get one of the bigger boards because right now I just have the single. And there's one Quelf version that's like bigger, and then there's more spaces. It goes on longer, so we can have like basically a quick version, and then the faster and the longer version.
Okay.
But yeah, Quelf is amazing. So we're definitely gonna have to do that one at some point.
For sure.
Moving on, we're gonna go into the review now.
Yes.
Before we jump right into that, though, we do want to talk about the new format for the review.
Yes.
So, what we used to do, and originally what we did was we would go through the whole plot of the film, and then after going through the plot, we'd talk about how we felt about it, and then after that, we would arrange scores for each aspect of the film that we saw, that we thought was the most important. So, direction, writing, cinematography, performances. We'd assign it a number out of 10, take the average from all of them, and that would be our grade for the film. But not anymore.
Yeah.
That is just too drawn out and long for you guys to sit through. Yes. And it means that we're basically giving you the whole film. You should be going and seeing it for yourself. And you can just take what we say as far as our suggestions on the film.
Yes.
And so with that, the new rating system.
Yeah. So now what we're doing is I won't give you every score we can do, but the two ends of the spectrum are as the best we will give a film is we will say it is a must-see film. The worst that we'll give a film is pass.
And in the middle...
And believe me, I've seen a lot of films that are passable. Mm-hmm. And then other things we have is like...
two more that we have is go check it out in theaters. And wait till it gets on stream.
Yeah, and maybe in the future, as we work this whole thing out, we might think of more things to give it, but that's what we have right now.
The hope is that this new grading system will make it more streamlined. Mm-hmm. There will be less rambling. It will be concise. Here's a brief synopsis of the film, without giving any spoilers. And here's how we feel about the movie and a few key elements that we appreciate about it.
Yeah, the plan is to, again, tell you basically what it's about, and then we will discuss the things that we enjoyed about it without spoiling the film, because we don't want to spoil it so that you will see the film for yourself and enjoy it for what it is, and go from there. And
with that being said, let's actually review
everything, everywhere, all at once. I'm sorry.
Butchered the shit out of that.
Yeah, everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yep. Right off the bat, let's just say this.
Let me start by saying, wow.
Off the rip, a couple of things. Off the rip, top 5 all time for me.
All time, top 5.
And might be one of the greatest films ever made. And in my opinion, is the most original film ever made.
It is hands down the best film I have ever watched in a theater, and it's. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's close.
You need to go see this film in theaters.
Yeah, but we'll get to that towards the end. Let's give our review.
Okay.
So basically,
that's part of the review.
Yeah, what this movie is about, it is a woman named Evelyn, who is a Chinese immigrant. She is a wife and a mother, who is struggling to hold her family together through the day-to-day routine that she has fallen into, when suddenly she is plunged into a battle to decide the fate of the multiverse. Okay? So that is pretty much what the film is about. Mm-hmm. But wow.
Phenomenal. Let's just start breaking down key aspects of the film that we really enjoyed.
Let's start with performances.
Right. So we're going to break down key aspects of the film that we really enjoyed. Performances
first.
Can I start this?
Please.
So 3 performances that stood out the most to me, and they were the 3 leads. Michelle Yeoh as Evelyn was near flawless.
Yeah, almost unparalleled.
Yeah. Easily should be the front runner in my opinion. It probably won't happen because this movie is very different.
We'll see.
But should be the front runner for best actress in a leading role.
Yeah, might be my favorite performance ever given by an actress in a leading role. We'll get more into some specific things as we talk. She killed. I've seen her in some other things, not like I can't name off. I believe she was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yes,
I believe she was out of this world.
It's outstanding
in everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yeah, outstanding performances. Stephanie Hsu as the daughter.
Yes, Joy was the character's name.
She did a fantastic job. Emotionally gripping, heartbreaking.
Yes.
Playing many different characters because they all, it's the multiverse.
So of the 4 main characters, they all play multiple different versions of themselves, which are each their own character. Mm-hmm. But the fourth of the 4, to a lesser extent, because I think that character only really plays 2 characters. Yeah.
Mainly the 3. The big 3 are...
The big 3.
So the big 3 are Michelle Yeoh as Evelyn, Stephanie Hsu as Joy, and Jonathan K. Kwan, who is back after
a 20-year hiatus from acting.
Let me break this down for you. Jonathan K. Kwan, if you don't know, was Short Round in Temple of Doom and Data in the Goonies. I grew up on those films. Mm-hmm. Before last year, 2021, he had not performed on screen or in television. In television or in film for 20 years, since 2001. Here's the deal. I don't know what may have been going on in his life.
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows? I don't know him personally.
We weren't there.
We
can't say.
We don't know. But I will say this. I genuinely want to know why we have been robbed of this man's performances for the last 2 decades.
Yes.
Because
his performance was thunderous in every way you can conceptualize the word. It was awe-inspiring. It was hilarious. Mm-hmm. It was gut-wrenching. He and the character through all of the different worlds that he played, none of them were like shortchanged in any way.
No.
They were all as important
as the last.
And as magical as the one before.
Yep.
That dude, I mean, again, who knows what he did in that time. But I'll tell you one thing he did during that time. He somehow perfected a craft.
Let me say this. Here's the deal about this film, and I'm just gonna break it down like this. In cinema and in films of any great film you can remember, of the masterpieces of cinematic works that you may have seen, they all typically have 2 or 3 things in the film that were just masterful. Mm-hmm. 2 or 3 aspects of their films were masterful, and the rest of it was just great, right? But there were obviously things that you can focus on as being masterful. For example, one of my favorite films, Blade Runner 2049, the cinematography was masterful.
You get the gun.
I do.
Agent K's gun.
Agent K's gun right here, which you got for me for Christmas.
That's right.
One year. Cinematography is masterful. It's the direction, the cinematography, the way that they shot that film. It's a beautiful, giant, big, sprawling piece. And Ryan Gosling's performance. Those were 2 for me. The big highlight, the atmosphere of that film, really, which the cinematography and direction captured. Mm-hmm. Those are only 2 or 3 things that made that film masterful. The rest of it was great. Nothing felt shortchanged. Those are every film that I would consider a masterpiece up until now are those kind of films where they have a couple of aspects that are truly masterful. Yes. This film.
I could not name a single aspect of this film that was not masterful.
Every aspect of this film was masterful.
So let's start from like the ground up. The concept of the film.
Jesus, man.
We'll say this: the writer and directors was 2, co-written and co-directed by the same people. We'll call them the Daniels.
It's Dan Kwan and Daniel Scheinhardt.
Yes, these 2 men, geniuses.
Here's the deal. I can only imagine the kind of hell it must have been storyboarding this movie.
Yeah. Like,
because here's what's happening.
Imagine writing the script and giving it to a studio and then being like, what the fuck's going on here? And then you have to be like, okay, so here's what's going on.
Hear me out.
I will be searching many forums, many websites, trying to find the pre-production script, because there's the script you write and then you rewrite it for production.
Yeah.
I want to find the original screenplay for this film.
So at any given time, after a certain point, when the big thing happens, which I'm not going to spoil necessarily.
There is a line about like 15 to 20 minutes in where it's like life, this happens.
Right. So
and that's what.
Yes. So after that happens,
what kicks it off into action.
After that happens, at any given time, there can be anywhere from 1 to at sometimes 20 different stories happening at the same time.
Yes.
So here's the deal: they're all happening simultaneously, and sometimes they're actually just on screen together in different universes happening, and it's beautiful. But also, like. As a film flows, it'll be in one universe and then cut to the next one and then the next one and then another one and then come back, and it flows flawlessly.
So as he said, there is like around 20 different stories going on at once, and every single one of them is emotionally satisfying.
Absolutely.
Like you said, they don't all necessarily happen on screen at once, but it's like we get through watching the film, you understand that these things are happening at the same time. Mm-hmm. But even some of them on screen in one shot, multiple will happen at the same time in the same frame.
Yeah. So conceptually, it's genius, brilliant,
yes.
as I said, and not the writing phenomenal. So all of that from the creative side, just even getting the film off the ground. beautiful. Cinematography, shooting it for the editor, because they had to shoot for this. I didn't see the editor's name. I saw it, but I didn't read it. Yeah,
in my head,
I didn't read off of Wikipedia, but the way that they had to shoot for the editor. So that they could cut it together, because there are times where we will be in one universe and it's on one character, like two people having a conversation, and it's one angle of one character, and then when they go to shoot the reverse angle, it's in a different universe at that same reverse angle, and it fit perfectly because the tone didn't change. It was beautiful. Yep.
This film,
genius the way they did that.
This film is at the same time one of the goofiest films I've ever seen. But simultaneously, the most profound film I've ever watched.
There was a time in particular, we were at the back of the theater cackling. And then
I'm talking like I almost cried from laughing.
And then not 5 minutes later, we were crying. Like genuinely
not
crying.
Not
from laughter.
It went from almost crying because I was laughing to this is very emotional and I'm shedding tears.
So without giving a spoiler, we have a science demonstration.
Yes,
we'd
okay.
like to show you.
So
we'll do it off of this so they can see it.
One of the most. I know.
Do it off of this though.
Okay.
So they can see it. So like on the table, I guess, or in my hand.
One of the most emotional parts of the film is literally
without spoiling.
Yeah. Because we won't tell you what's going on. One of the most emotional parts of the entire film, this is a demographic of.
Yeah, it broke my heart. My heart.
That happened.
Broke my heart.
And I was in my chair like you were raised to not cry, but...
Yeah, look, here's the deal.
Oh, dude.
I'm going to level with you. I'm going to be completely honest with you. If we were there... Okay, there's only one film that has ever touched me the way that this movie has, and this film... touched me like right on the same level, and it's my favorite film of all time, and that is Her by Spike Jonze.
Yes.
Here's the deal. Had we been watching that in this living room and not at a movie theater, I'd have been squalling.
Yeah.
I would have been squalling.
If I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once in the comfort of my own home, privately by myself, I would have been a mess.
Even if I was with you, I'd have been fucked. It'd have been like
if it were just a dude. I would. Because
do you remember when we watched Her?
You were there when we've watched Her together and we've watched Interstellar together.
Yeah.
Privately in the comfort of my own living room.
Yep.
Both of those movies, I was a wreck.
Yeah. Look, I was squalling, and then look, for Her, I'm over there squalling. For Interstellar, I had to leave the room because I was crying. Yeah. I'm telling you.
Interstellar, I've only seen it once, and it was with you and a friend of ours, Richard Allen, and that movie, I was like I'm talking, like I'm pretty sure at some point we had to pause the movie to like
let everyone
console me that like I was okay.
Yeah,
but this movie.
So look, on the day. Here's what I'm gonna say. On the day that we go to watch this film here, we're gonna need to watch that at night and take the day leading up to it to like.
Yeah, because we plan to see it
on Tuesday,
5 days from now.
Yeah,
5 days from now we plan to go again and see it.
Yes,
but
you need to go see this ASAP.
Yeah, one thing I will say, there are a few movies in my life that have had a very personal impact. This film had more than just a personal impact. This film read me more than I read it. So when we watched it, I am not kidding. There are some certain aspects in my life that I'm self-conscious about, and there are things that have happened, there are things about me that I do not like and that I feel bad about. This movie, it's like it knew the things that I felt bad about myself, and it validated me, and it like counseled me. It was like, it's okay. It's like, yeah, you're a mess, but it's okay to be a mess. Like, yeah, you're this, but it's okay to be this.
And we're gonna leave you with one more thing because we are running out of time. You need to go see this film.
Please.
This is...
If you never watch another film in your life, make sure that the last film you ever see is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
This film is wholly original, and these type of movies don't get funding like this one did. This one got $25 million funding. That can go out the window if it doesn't make a budget back. We need this film to succeed so that we can get more original films. I know that we're not the only ones tired of the same films all over again every single time. This is a wholly original film. This story has never been told. It's not based off of any IP. We need movies like this to succeed. And it's not a major production company either. So it's not Disney or Warner Brothers or Netflix. This film needs to succeed so that we can get more movies like this. And that's what we're going to need to leave it at because we're running out of time. Battery's almost dead.
One more thing. I will say this. Any genre that you're a fan of is probably represented in this film.
Yeah.
If you are a fan of romance, the romance in this film is incredible. If you are a fan of action films, this is the single best kung fu film I have ever seen. It is an almost unparalleled comedy. It is a very down to earth personal level drama that will make you weep. It is unbelievably good.
Yeah. Go see it.
So with that, the rating that we give this film is a must see.
Must see. Absolutely.
Yes.
Big old stamp of approval.
Yeah. I wish I had a bigger stamp to give it. This film is a must see.
Tuesday can't get here fast enough.
Yes, it really can't. I am
craving,
chomping at the bit.
Craving.
Yeah.
See it again.
I wish I could travel in time so I could move 5 days in the future and watch this film again.
Right.
I can't fucking wait.
So y'all, thank you guys so much for watching. We really hope you enjoyed our new format. You need to go see that. You need to go see Everything Everywhere All at Once. But again, thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Thanks
for coming out.
If you like what you see, even if you don't like it, let us know in the comments what you feel about the new format and how we're kind of running the podcast and things that you want to see us do in the future. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah,
and
smash that motherfucking like button.
Smash that motherfucking like button. We will catch you next time.
Yeah. And with that, all I have to say is theme song.
I'm on a run down this lonely road. A lot of obstacles trying to knock me down. I can see what's going on all around me. This world ain't changing, this place is still the same. That's why I do what it takes to move on. All hard work, prideful and strong. I do what it takes to keep my head high. I do what it takes to keep my head high. Sometimes life is hard to live. Corruption all around us, taking families. Teenager in school saying he don't want to live. We gotta make a choice to save communities. Everything will be okay. Better days are on the way. Never give up, we got to make a change. Never give up, never give up. I do what it takes to move on. All hard work, prideful and strong. Wherever we live is life in peace. We take away all the finer things. We can put our pride to the side. Now we see there's more to life. There's more to life. Everything will be okay. Better days are on the way. Never give up, we got to make a change. I never give up, I never give up. I do what it takes to move on. You're too